Okay, now let's work on homework 1, question 6 to 10. Number 6. You decide whether to eat one more slice of pizza based on how hungry will you feel. Which economic principle does this statement best represent? One more is the keyword. Okay, doing something one more step, a little bit more in the quantity. And that is basically we can go directly to the choice, right? A decision made at margin. Sometimes if you're too full, right, one more slice of pizza means acid reflux, right? Too full, not comfortable, right? But if you're still hungry, right, one more slice of pizza is available. You'll feel better after eating that one. So, you can eat one more slice. So it's a how much decision, and it's made at a margin here in this situation, meaning that it really depends on how many slices of pizza you have eaten, right? If you've eaten a lot, then one more may be doing some damage. But if you haven't eaten anything, then you want that, right? And then maybe one slice is not enough. You want one more slice. Okay, that's the so-called decision made at margin. Okay, this one is not about scarcity. It's not about opportunity cost. No one asked, how much you want to pay for it. And there's no trade, so there's no gains from trade to talk about. So that's question 6. Now look at question 7. Which method of discouraging speeding is likely to be most effective, given that people usually exploit opportunities to make themselves better off? Everybody want to go faster, right, on the road. So to encourage or discourage some people, you want to do what? Give them incentive, right? Incentive to do something good, disincentive to do something bad, right? Kind of the reverse incentive from speeding, right? So obviously, just based on our life experience, you can increase the fine associated with speeding tickets. That's the easy answer. Now, how about increasing the number of signs stating the speed limit? You just tell them, kind of a nagging approach, right? And the public service announcements, C, reminding drivers of the dangers of speeding. Again, nagging, education. But when people kind of in the mood, they may forget, all right? They may neglect the sign, and their headphone, their car may be playing music, not the public service announcement. And then D, asking drivers to reduce speed. When can you ask them to do that, right? They're driving fast. Can you catch them? Probably hard. Okay, question 8. This one actually is a difficult question. The idea is simple, but the question itself is kind of tricky. Two neighbors, Molly and Sandy, are separated by a white picket fence. Each neighbor has a garden that grows tomatoes and peppers. Okay, two goods. To gain from trade, now that involve exchange, right? Who can trade what to whom, right? This is whom to whom. Trade something for something. Okay, so we have one person can trade some good to the next person, right, for some good. If some person is more efficient grower of peppers, okay, so this is the starting point. The more efficient grower of peppers is the starting point to solve this question. I said it's a difficult question. The basic principle, let's see, is specialization, right? Each person specializes in the task that he or she is good at performing. So if somebody is good at doing something, that person specializes in doing that something. And then they can exchange with other people who are good at doing other things. That specialization and trade, okay? And there's gains from trade. We will have some lectures to talk about exactly how gains from trade is happening. How does it happening? Here, in this question, what we want to do is to figure out, right, if somebody is more efficient grower of peppers, then that somebody should grow pepper and use that pepper to trade what? Tomatoes, right? So who can trade something for something? These two. Okay, let me mark this one. This is something. Okay, let's call that something A, and here it's something B, right? So here the first one is someone. That person, let's say person 1. All right. Person 1 can trade something A to what? Person someone. Let's just use person 2. All right. For something, if someone is more efficient grower of peppers. That's the idea. So here is, if someone is more efficient grower of peppers, then that someone can trade pepper to somebody else for the other thing, right? So the other thing, we can figure out that the other thing is actually, let me just use tomatoes. Tomatoes. Let me just put the tomatoes here, right? Someone is more efficient grower of peppers. Then this guy, this someone can trade what? Actually peppers to the other guy, okay, to the other guy for tomatoes if that first guy, someone here is more efficient grower of peppers. Okay, that's the story. So let's say, again, let's put just the person 1 here, right? 1 can trade peppers to person 2 for tomatoes if, go back to 1 is more efficient grower of peppers. I hope that makes sense to you right now. Okay, so somebody, let's say that person is person 1. That person is more efficient grower of peppers. So this person have a loads of peppers, and this person can trade peppers for tomatoes. All right, this person give out peppers, receive tomatoes, and this person trade with person 2. Okay, that's the structure of this story. That's the structure of this story. So now let's look at what we know here, right? Grow pepper, trade pepper. Okay, the first one should be pepper, and A, C, D has peppers in it. And then trade pepper to somebody this person, right, for tomatoes. So the second one, the goods should be tomatoes. So pepper, tomatoes, C and D, pepper and tomatoes. Now, then we need to figure out who's this first guy, right? Person 1. Person 1 is more efficient grower of peppers, and person 1 can trade peppers for tomatoes. So this person, right, in the last place need to be the same person in the first place. And what we are looking at here, we are looking at C and D, right? C got peppers and tomato right. D got peppers and tomatoes right. The next thing we need to decide is person. Now, both of them says Molly is the one who is the efficient grower of peppers. Now, Molly need to be the one that trade peppers for tomatoes. So Molly need to be in the first place as well. Okay? It cannot be Sandy. Sandy has no peppers because Molly is the one who grow peppers better. And Sandy will grow what? Tomatoes. Okay? So Sandy cannot trade peppers for tomatoes. Sandy actually traded tomatoes for peppers. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is to wipe out all the notes I've put down, and I want to refill the sentence with Molly, peppers, Sandy, tomatoes, and Molly into the blanks. So let's see. If we put this one in, Molly can trade. I will put it lower. Peppers. Right? To whom? To Sandy. Make it higher. For what? For tomato. Right? If Molly is more efficient grower of peppers. Molly is the more efficient grower of peppers. Yes, the concept is not very difficult, but this question is kind of very tricky, all right? So you have to figure out the one who's more efficient in doing something is the one who can trade out that something. Okay, here Molly for peppers, so Molly for peppers. Okay, this if the condition behind if is consistent between Molly and peppers. Let me close this one and focus on here. Right, Molly and peppers, and then Molly and peppers. Okay, it's the first part. Same person, same goods. From the if condition, go to the first part of this sentence. And this person need to trade with the other person for the other good. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, or say the blank after 4, right? The first person get what? 4 tomatoes here, right? That's the second good. So spend some time to think about it. Okay, this is a question that you need to spend the time to solve. Okay, you need to spend time to solve, which means it's a good exam question. Okay, now question 9. In baseball, when one manager decides to send in a pinch hitter, the other manager often changes pitchers. This sometimes causes the first manager to send in a new pitch hitter. Once both managers decide that no more player substitutions will benefit their team, the situation has reached what? Okay, let me go to the lecture notes, and this is the idea, right? People will exploit opportunities to make themselves better off. When the opportunities to make themselves better off have all been exploited, an equilibrium is reached. Okay, so now you know what should be the answer, right? So people are doing all sort of changes to make themselves better off, right? You send in a pitch hitter, I send in new pitcher, and we just keep changing until we feel we cannot make ourselves better. That's the answer, right? The situation reached efficiency. That's another idea. That's not the idea that we are talking about here. Okay, we will explore the idea of efficiency later on. Equity, not really, right? They will have one winner and one loser in a game, not exactly equal, right? Something reached the market. We say that when we send goods or services to a market. That's reach the market. The market itself, right? People behavior no longer change. That is equilibrium. Okay, that is the concept we will work with. Okay, question number 10. Which principle underlies the interaction of individual choices? The key here is interaction. People interact, right? We make our own choices, and then we also work with other people. So choice A is still the scarcity principle, right? Resources are scarce. It's about why we have to make choices, but it's not about interaction. B, there are gains from trade. Once you trade, you have to trade with somebody else, right? It doesn't really make sense you trade with yourself. So it has to be a trade with somebody else, so that's interaction. And then, how much this is a decision at the margin? This is about individual choice, a how much decision, right? Individual choice, not about interaction. D, people usually respond to incentives, exploiting the opportunities to make themselves better off, and then eventually they reach equilibrium. This is about, where things goes, right? That's the result of interaction, but it's not the why, right? Why people interact. Why people interact, right? If you look at here, right? We specialize, right? And then we trade. People exchange their goods and services in the marketplace, which yields the market economy. Okay, that is question 6 to 10 in homework 1.